Peace. What's going on, everybody? Give people a chance to scroll on in here. This was an unexpected live. Got some things get off my chest. Once again, I'm feeling inspired, feeling motivated, feeling the need to vent. It's one of my weekly venting sessions, man. Got some stuff to really get off my chest in regards to health and fitness, man. People just making a ton of excuses instead of doing what they know they need to do. We got to stop making the excuses, man. We got to stop making these excuses out here, man. It's nobody else's job to take care of you but you. That's your job. That's your job, man. What's going on, Dynasty? Every day I encounter excuse after excuse as to why people are not eating correctly, as to why people are not exercising, as to why people are not changing the quality of their thoughts. Simple things, man. Simple things. Simple things. I got a ton of stories under my belt, man. That just as a trainer. What's going on, Miami Soldier? Just pathetic excuses that we got to stop making, man. We got to start making time for our health, like we make time for everything else. I just had a situation not too long ago where a client referred someone to me. I reached out to the person, no response. So the client reached back out to the person that they referred to me and inquired about me reaching out to them. The client said she couldn't afford a trainer at that moment. But then a week later, fast forward a week later, she all over Florida. So she got enough money. She got enough money to go on vacation, to go out to Florida during this pandemic. But she don't have enough money to invest in her health and fitness. Excuses. Excuses. We got to stop that. We got to stop it. We got to stop it, because then when we get on that deathbed, now we looking for a savior. Now we praying and we doing all type of other stuff because we don't want to die. Meanwhile, when we making these decisions, these terrible decisions throughout life, we cool. But when you on that deathbed, man, when you done had that heart attack, when that diabetes done got a hold of you, now you on that deathbed, now you praying, now you don't want to let go of life. Well, you should have thought about that while you were consuming the unnecessary food that you were consuming, while you were failing to exercise. Instead of exercising, you making excuses. You scrolling on social media 20 to 30 minutes. Like you couldn't make time. You couldn't allot 20 to 30 minutes to exercise. Come on. Most definitely usually too late. And that's the point I'm making. That's the point I'm making. We wait until it's too late to consider changing our habits. Keyword consider. A lot of people still don't change. But we wait until that drastic moment, that drastic life event for us to think about changing our habits. Just think about it. Just entertain the notion or entertain the thought that maybe I do need to change some of my habits. For some of us, that's still not enough. For a lot of us, that's still not enough. It shouldn't even take that. It shouldn't take that at all. What's going on, Alpha Mindset? It shouldn't take that at all. Like, I'm sick of it, man. We got a bunch of time to sit around moping, complaining, doing all type of other negative things, man. But when it comes time to exercise and eat right, all of a sudden it's too expensive. We don't have time for it. Some people even go as far as to blaming their kids, man. I've heard all type of excuses, man. I've heard all type of excuses. And I train some very busy people. So it's some people right now that I train that have ridiculously busy schedules. So I know if they can make time for it, anybody can. But it's just people that's filled with excuses, man. How bad do you want it? Like, how bad do you want to be healthy, man? Seriously, it's a choice. Like, you don't have to suffer from that cancer. You don't have to suffer from that diabetes. You don't have to suffer from that high blood pressure. It's a choice. And every time that you go into that fast food drive-through line, you making the choice. You choosing death over life. You making that decision. Every time that you walk into that McDonald's, every time you walk into that Popeye's chicken, you making that decision. We got to start holding ourselves accountable for disease. We got to stop blaming old age, because a lot of these diseases we are causing on ourselves. This ain't got nothing to do with us just getting older. I got people, you know what I'm saying? There's people in their 30s talking about, I'm getting old. Man, you're not old in your 30s. What are you talking about? I don't know what world a lot of you all are living in, but I'm approaching 30. That's not old to me. Like, that's not old at all. 40 is not old to me. 50 is not old to me. So why are we in our mid to late 30s thinking we are old all of a sudden? Thinking that our body is supposed to be breaking down at 35, at 36, at 37. We think that's natural. That is not natural. That is not normal for your body to be breaking down in its 30s. So stop that. Stop entertaining that thought. That's a terrible way of thinking, man. That's a terrible way of viewing yourself and viewing life. Your body is not supposed to be breaking down at 30, 35, at 40. It's not supposed to be happening. Yes, sir. Like I said, Alpha Mindset, I train a lot of busy people. I'm talking about, I even have to figure out how they have time to allow me to train them, because they are that busy and they still make time for it, because we make time for what's important to us. Yeah, Edward, that's how it's supposed to go. Like, I'm getting better with time. Like, going into my 30s, I feel better than I did when I was 19 or 18, and that's how it's supposed to go. That's what evolution is. Most definitely, Alpha Mindset. I tell people all the time, I'm nowhere near close to where I want to be at all. At all. Like, I'm only going to get better, man. I'm only going to evolve and improve myself more and more over time. So I'm definitely not content nor comfortable with where I'm at right now. What's going on, Guided by Spirituality? Welcome to the chat. What's going on with you? What's going on, Alfred? Lindell, most definitely. Gambling will definitely kill you. A lot of habits, man. A lot of things that we gravitate towards like that will definitely take you out the game. Definitely. That's why you got to minimize or eliminate those type of things, man. If it's adding that stress to you, man, if it's increasing that blood pressure, eliminate it. Don't fool with it. Don't indulge in it. I'm already knowing, but we got to change that perception again. Accountability. We got the power to change that perception. Like 30, people tell me, 30, you getting old. Nah, I don't. I've never referred to me becoming 30 as me becoming old. Never. Never. Like, that's not how I see it. That's not my outlook. I'm just now reaching my prime, if you ask me. I'm just now reaching my prime. Like, going into my 30s, that's my prime. Like, that's how I view it, man. But again, you talk to the everyday average person, they 35, 40. And again, like, I know a bunch of them, man, suffering from all type of ailments, man. You would think that they were like 60, 65 from all the ailments and medication that they are on. And someone has convinced them that that's normal to be diabetic before 30, to have high blood pressure at 30, to have heart issues mid to late 30s. Where is that normal at? Only here. What's going on, Beast Reincarnated? Appreciate that, Guided by Spirituality. Yeah, Alpha Mindset. Hey, again, it's all about prioritizing that health. You make it a priority. You wake up with that purpose in mind. Like, I'm waking up ready to get to it, ready to get this money. Because you want it, man. You want your health as bad as you want anything else in life, and that's how it's supposed to be. We be striving for the wrong things. We be striving for the wrong things in this particular country. We strive for the wrong thing. We wake up striving for the wrong things, man. We just so materialistic, man. It's certain things that we overlook. It's a lot of things that we overlook. Mental health and just health in general being one of the main things that we tend to overlook. We wake up, we striving to get to the money. Well, how crucial, matter of fact, how useful can this money be? How useful can the wealth be if you don't have your health? And that's exactly what I was just about to get into that spiel, Donna C. I mean, come on, you striving to get all this money. Like I've seen people run themselves into the ground, all because they chasing the dollar. You run yourself into the ground, you have no health, you have no life. Tell me how important that dollar really is. Is it really worth your health? Can't spend time with your family, can't spend time with your kids. And then when you do spend time with them, you feel terrible. You feel garbage because your health is not intact. So again, was it worth it? Was it worth it? When you prioritize your health, when you put your health first, man, everything falls in line according to that. Most definitely. I know a lot of people, man, that's 60, 70, and they moving around better than people I know that's my age. So I definitely know a lot of elders that take care of themselves, man. They move around like they 20 and they 30 and they 70 and 80. And that's how it's supposed to go. Like people don't understand how the body works. Like as far as the cells, man, we constantly regenerate new cells, man, on a monthly basis, man. Every X amount of months, like we regenerate new cells. Basically, it's a new you. But if you're not supplying the body with the proper nutrients, then your body is not able to regenerate those new cells. Hence why we become toxic. You're supposed to be able to shed those old cells, those dead cells, and repair them with fresh new ones. But if you're not supplying your body with the proper nutrients, it's not happening like that. Hence why we self-destruct. So that's crucial. When you consume all these fast foods, this processed foods, you're going against nature. You're going against nature. And you know what happens when you go against nature? Destruction. Destruction. Beast reincarnated to keep the answer to that short and simple. No. Yeah, the physical and vice versa. Improved mental health can lead to you improving your physical health. So they all correlate with one another. Most definitely, Alpha man, got to wake up. Affirmations, meditation, get the blood flowing, get you some exercise in first thing in the morning. Like that should be your top 3 right there. Affirmations, meditation, a little bit of exercise, and drink some water. Top 4, really. You do those 4 things every morning. And Alpha Man said, I don't have diet plans. I have like meal guidelines that I provide to people. So it's like several pages. It's like a meal guideline that I send to like my clients and then people that ask for them. But it's like a meal guideline. And it all kind of depends on what your goal would be. But yeah, Alfred, man, that's crucial. Master in the morning. That's one thing. I'm an advocate of that. Master in the morning. But again, it goes back to you taking your health into your own hand, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Yes, beast reincarnated meditation, it relaxes you. It centers you. It quiets that mind, man, because I mean, when you think about it, man, the mind is constantly just flowing, positive, negative. At some point, you got to quiet that mind. That's what meditation does. brings that stillness to your life. It's almost like what fasting does to the digestive system. The digestive system is constantly working because we are constantly eating. So it's constantly having to do work. The mind is just constantly going on a day-to-day basis. So at some point, you just got to sit down, quiet the mind, focus on the breathing. Empty that cup. Because a lot of the, most of the times, man, we the source of our own destruction via that mind, via how we perceive things. Sometimes things really don't be as bad as they seem, but we make them that way because of our outlook, because of our conditioning and things of that nature. But for the most part, it revolves around that perception. I got a book called Thought is the Only Reality. I recommend that book. It tells you how important, how vital, how crucial your thinking is to everything in life. It all starts as a thought. It all starts with the thought. Even before you utter a word, it starts as a thought. So when that book talks about the thought being the only reality, man, just think about how true it is. Like you don't have to utter a word. You never have to utter a word, but you constantly thinking. You constantly thinking. And like I said, before the word is uttered, you got to think about what you're saying. Or think about what you will say. Yeah, definitely mind chatter. Clustering of the mind, clustering of the thoughts. Meditation helps me kind of sort through all of my thoughts. Most definitely, Lindell, I agree. Beast Reincarnated, get on it. Like, get on, just prioritize health. Get on it. Health should be at the top of your pyramid. All right, Alpha Mindset. Then it may be something as small as the time that you are eating. Like, when do you eat your largest meal? And do you eat late at night? Do you eat and then go sleep? Like after your last meal, how long is it after that last meal do you go to sleep? What's going on, K Wavy, man? Appreciate it. Keep tuning in, keep tapping in. Alfred, indeed. Everything is mental. All is mental. The universe is mental. And people don't understand that power of perception. That's why I'm talking about accountability right now, because people make these excuses. People don't understand. People don't understand right here. This is what people don't understand, that every time that you make that excuse, you sending a signal to the cells within your body. That signal is like whatever that excuse is, the body is going to work, or the mind is going to work to create conditions that justify that excuse. So you will find every reason in the world as to why you can't exercise. Hence why these excuses keep popping up in your head. Your body will find more and more, or your mind will find more and more, because you keep feeding it excuses. So hence why you will be able to find a person talk about the fact that they can't exercise and they got all these different excuses. All it does is starts with that one excuse. It starts with that one excuse. Once you make that one excuse, you let the body know, like, all right, man, we exercising ain't for us, and here's why. And your mind will accept that. And it will start giving you signs and symbols and signals as to why you cannot exercise. So it will be in agreement with the message that you are sending to it. That's why you got to be mindful of what you are saying, mindful of the energy that you're putting out in regards to those thoughts. Because as they say, the subconscious mind, it can't dissect truth from fiction. That subconscious mind accepts any and everything that you supply it with. Your subconscious mind is not going to stop you and say, oh, no, you can't exercise. You just making an excuse. No, that subconscious mind is going to be like, oh, okay, you feel like you can't exercise. And here's the reason why. We're going to give you more reasons why. Because you telling us the cells within the body that we not gonna exercise. So that's what we gonna roll with. We not exercising. And that's when things get powerful. Once it registers in that subconscious mind that this is not what we doing, or this is what we are not doing, and it gives you all those signs revolving around that, now you finna have a problem. It's gonna be hard for you to break that cycle. It's gonna be hard for you to develop that better habit. Edward, my thoughts on overthinking. I got like I said, man, my views are typically unconventional. So when it comes to like overthinking, I want to figure out the way that I want to word it, because I don't necessarily believe that we tend to like overthink. Because like I said, the mind is always constantly in motion. But at some points, you do have situations. You do have plenty of situations where we'll take something, we'll take a thought, and we'll tend to analyze it too long. But I got a little different view on kind of what overthinking is and what it means to me. Because for the most part, when people think they are actually overthinking, it is necessary. It may be like a deep situation that's going on in your life that requires that deep observation, that deep analyzing, those deep thoughts. But at some point, you do have to make a decision when it comes to those thoughts. So you don't want to just get lost in the aspect of thinking about something. At some point, you got to make that decision. But when I was a kid, I got penalized a lot for like overthinking when I played sports and things of that nature. All right, Alpha mindset. Then I think, what type of fasting are you doing right now? You might have to change up your method of fasting. And what's going on, Bradley, man? My meal plan, depending on what the goal is, but my meal plan is simple, man. Just again, like beans, greens, fruits, veggies, whole grains, nuts, seeds, water, like alkaline water, orange juice here and there. Walk for 30 minutes. How long you been doing that, Beast Reincarnated? And K Wavy, most definitely. And people don't understand the law of attraction. At the end of that, you got action. So you have no law of attraction without action. So you always got to put in the work. People think the law of attraction just works simply by thinking. Like it starts with that thought, but then you also, like your ways in action have to correlate with the words and the thoughts that you put out. But everything starts as that thought. And another thing too, people got to learn how to roll with that gut feeling. They say sometimes that gut feeling is more reliable than what we would call like a feeling or something that we get like logically. So sometimes that gut feeling is more reliable. You know, that first instinct that you get. You got to learn to roll with that joint. Like stop doubting yourself. Piggybacking on what Edward was talking about, a lot of times that's what overthinking really is. You doubting yourself. Initially, you had a thought, and more than likely it was right and exact. But through conditioning, you have been programmed to doubt yourself. So that original thought seems too good to be true. So you like, hold on, this can't be right. It can't be this simple. So now you start questioning yourself. Then you start seeking outside sources to kind of validate your position or your perspective. All right, Beast Reincarnated. Keep that up. Then once it get about 4 to 5 weeks, start jogging. Hit a light jog. Like every 4 to 5 weeks, man, you need to change up your program and increase the intensity. Do something different. So if you walking 30 minutes a day, 4 to 5 weeks, then when it's week 6, it's time to jog. Maybe start by jogging 5 minutes, jogging 10 minutes. Then each week you just increase the amount of minutes that you are jogging. Oh yeah, alpha mindset. They say if you're looking to get into that fat burning zone via fasting, then they recommend at least 19 hours to like expedite the process. So you might want to do a 19-5 form of fasting. Fast for 19 hours, eat between that 5-hour window. Or you can do what's called like the 5-2. You eat 5 days during the week, fast for 2 days. Some even do 4-3. Eat 4 days throughout the week, fast for 3 days. But I think one of those would be beneficial to you. I think you can go on that 5-2 or the 4-3. I think you're ready for some 24-hour fast, man. Like the 5-2 is I got a client right now. She's been on the 5-2 for like 2 to 3 weeks, and she didn't drop 10 pounds. And she on a lot of medication that, ironically, the side effect for the medication is weight gain. That's another thing that's crazy, man, with the medical institution, man, and the type of medication that they give folks. The type of medication that they give folks. I got a client. I'm going to just give y'all a little story real quick, man, because it's crazy. I got a client suffering from depression. So they own depression medication, right? So they also suffer from insomnia. So the doctor linked the insomnia to depression. So then what did they do? They prescribed her medication for the insomnia. What are the side effects of the medication to treat the insomnia? Weight gain, depression, suicidal thoughts. That's crazy. You already got somebody suffering from depression. They tell you they got a problem with insomnia. You link insomnia to depression, give them medication where the side effects are weight gain, increased depression or elevated depression, and suicidal thoughts. Why would you give a person that's already suffering from depression some medication that's going to increase their depression and suicidal thoughts? What sense does that make? Like, what sense does that make? And then they also, you know what I'm saying, they strive to lose weight, so you give them medication where the side effect is weight gain. So, I mean, this is the type of stuff that we up against, man. Yeah, most definitely. Herbs and greens, man. Herbs and greens, all you need for that stamina, and some fruit. That's it. Beast Reincarnated, man. Black seed oil pretty much can, I don't want to say cure. I don't want to directly link it to like a cure and say if you take the black seed oil, it'll cure cancer, but it can help reverse and prevent those conditions. Like any condition that you can think of, it will help prevent or reverse it, along with other factors. So if you just taking the black seed oil, yet you still consuming a toxic diet, then it's really actually doing nothing. So you got to take the black seed oil along with a healthy diet. So that's another crucial aspect of life that we tend to miss too. We take these supplements, but yet we don't change the way that we are eating. Therefore, the supplements are not as effective as we think. So you got to take these supplements and you got to take these herbs and you got to take these oils with a healthy lifestyle. That is when you get the true benefit. No problem, Alpha Mind said, yeah, go ahead, hit them 24-hour fast, man. That's when you're going to start seeing those results instantly. Yep, Western medicine is garbage. Western medicine is big time garbage. I mean, you're already suffering from depression. They give you pills that increase your depression and make you have suicidal thoughts. So then when she comes in with suicidal thoughts, then they're going to give her some pills for that. And I guarantee you the side effect is going to be weight gain, and then it's going to increase your depression again. So they just making you more depressed. I mean, that's honestly why I really don't encourage people. Like, if you go to the doctor, man, ask questions. Do your research before you go to these doctors, man. Don't just let them tell you anything. Guided by spirituality. What's good for the cholesterol? Low fat, plant-based diet. Because for the most part, those fatty foods, trans fat, too much saturated fat, that is what increases that cholesterol. So you want to go low fat, plant-based. So a bunch of greens, bunch of fruits, bunch of beans, nuts, seeds, and that cholesterol will be down. And nothing set in stone. Nope. Yeah, it's no logic. It's no logic in the medical field at all, man. None. But you the criminal, you the bad guy when you say that. They supply us with a lot of misinformation out here, man. So that's why you gotta stay on your P's and Q's, man, when you go into the doctor. Because again, they don't have to be well versed in nutrition, man. They're not even required to know much about nutrition, man. They are basically instructed to point out a symptom and treat that symptom, diagnose that symptom, and give you that like medication for it. That's it. Definitely stay away from consuming the animal flesh. What's going on, Omnipotent Goldie? But it's accountability, man. It's accountability. Like we didn't play the blame game long enough. We didn't blame any and everybody long enough for our circumstances, for our position in life. At what point does it become your responsibility? At what point does your health become your responsibility? The time is now for your health to become your responsibility. And not only just your health, man, but everything in life. Everything in life. I'm just fed up with the lack of accountability that we have as a people, man. Like, I'm the type of person, man, when I do wrong, I do wrong. I'm not blaming the devil. I'm not blaming the system. I'm not blaming no one. When I made the decision, it's no devil that made me do it. You get plenty of iron and protein from plant-based sources. So again, everyone needs iron. Everyone needs all the vitamins and minerals, and you easily get those from plant-based sources. So most definitely. Yeah, Alpha Mind said you always got to do the knowledge as we say to what you are consuming. Yeah, that statin medication is terrible. I'm pretty sure if you did some research on natural ways to lower it, I'm pretty sure you came across information about how terrible the statin drug is. And they always quick to prescribe us with some medication. So again, with accountability, we got to stop looking to these outside sources. Like that doctor, we look at that doctor for some apparent reason. Because I don't know why we do this, because a doctor, again, is not someone that's well versed in nutrition. But we look to this doctor. Whatever this doctor says tends to be law. Oh, my doctor said I can eat cheese instead of fruits. My doctor said I can eat the Oreos, drink the milk instead of eat the fruits. Like my doctor said. But who is your doctor? What does your doctor really know about nutrition? I can tell you the answer to that is not much, not much more than I do. So people wonder why a lot of times I've had people come to me and say they wonder why their doctor never told them this, that, and the third about nutrition. Is because they don't know. For some reason, we think these doctors know everything in regards to like health and fitness, but they don't. All they know is what to prescribe you when you come in there and say you have a headache. The only time you will come across, if you come across a doctor that is well versed in nutrition, that's because they had to do the studying on their own on the side. But that's not a part of their education. That's not the bulk of their education at all. Oh, nothing set in stone. I got that video on thyroids coming. I got a whole new layout how I'm gonna do these videos. I'm gonna break that down to y'all, man, here shortly. But I'm gonna definitely do something on that. And Omnipotent Goldie, I'm gonna go. The people that paid the doctors want you sick. The doctors are actually like they blind, deaf, and dumb to what's really going on. Like they just going through the educational system that the people that pay them has designed for them. So they don't really know much. They just pawns. They just doing what they told and instructed to do, what they are taught to do. That's pretty much all the doctor. That's pretty much they pawns, man. They pawns. They like a president, as I said in the last video. That's all the doctor is. So I don't really even too much place any blame on these doctors for it because again, it's lack of knowledge. They just don't know. But the ones that you come across that know a little bit of something, like I said, they've had to do their own independent research because it's not a requirement, which is crazy. You would think a doctor should be required to know something about nutrition. But we gotta look at the people who pay the doctors. That's where the agenda is at. And then at some point, it goes back to like logic, common sense. At some point, we got to realize that they really don't know what they're talking about when it comes to certain things, man. And that's where accountability comes into play. Like I was mentioning my client, like she used her common sense. She was like, man, they gave me, I'm already suffering from depression. They gave me medication on insomnia that's going to elevate my depression. That makes no sense. So at some point, we got to look at that. At some point, we got to take a step back and logically analyze some of the stuff that they are telling us. Do your own knowledge, do your own research. They tell you something, don't accept it. Don't accept anything on face value, as we say. And Beast Reincarnated 2021 will be as good or as bad as you make it. 2021 is going to be a perfect year for me. It's all in my perception. No, Edward Pro, I don't recommend any supplement, really. I don't take any supplement at all. So I don't recommend any of them. And K Wavy, how many times did you eat throughout the day? Because when you looking to gain weight, man, so you want to get, I say look into consuming like hemp seeds. It's something called jungle peanuts. You can find those like on Amazon. Almonds, cashews, your walnuts, pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, flax seeds. Start incorporating more seeds into your lifestyle, like split peas, and start consuming more beans. And you got to make sure you're getting your meals in if you're trying to gain, you don't want to gain just weight, you want to gain muscle. So it's the difference between gaining weight, gaining muscle. Because you can gain weight, but it can be fat. You don't want that. So make sure you're gaining that muscle, increasing that muscle mass. Yeah, 2020 hasn't necessarily been all that bad to me at all, man. Like I said, I've been able to make certain moves in 2020. So that's why I told people good or bad really don't exist, man. It's what you make of it. It's your perception. I've had up days, I've had down days, but that's been every year. Yeah, all the meds have terrible side effects. Terrible side effects. But throughout my lifetime, going back on 2020, 2021, my lifetime, man, it's been several times where everybody thought the world was going to end. And I was just sitting laughing at them. It's been several times where everyone was convinced. I don't know if you all remember, some of you may be young, I don't know. But like the year 2000, the Y2K bug. I don't know if you all remember that, but the stores were wiped out. Like the same way that you could barely find certain items when this pandemic hit. The Y2K bug was hitting, it was the same way, man. You couldn't find water, paper towel, like for the life of me. I didn't understand that. If you thought the world was ending, why are you loading up on water and all this type of stuff? If you thought the world was ending, that made no sense. Like if the world is ending, it ain't like having all this water and paper towels ain't gonna do anything for you. The world gonna end. But I remember that like it was yesterday. So it doesn't take much to create mass hysteria with the masses. And it's sad. It's sad. That's why when I analyze this pandemic, again, just going back to accountability, at some point, we got to start making things make sense. They can literally tell us anything and we just going to accept it. Wear a mask. And we're like, all right, cool, bet. Long as it sound like it semi makes sense, we with it. Oh, Y2K, the world going to end, and this is why. And we bought it. So we started buying up water, all type of nonsense, preparing for doomsday. 2012, they made whole movies about that. And then I don't know if you all remember, what was it? June 6th, what was it? 666. So it was June 6, 2006. That was another time. I think that had to do with like Nostradamus or something. I think that had to do with a prophecy of Nostradamus, the whole June 6, 2006. Beast reincarnated the microchips that people are talking about already here, man. It's already the cell phone. Cell phone is part of the microchip. They done been bugged us. They're gonna continue to evolve the microchip, but the microchip is already here. It's just gonna change forms. Like the microchip been here. But for right now, it's these smartphones, man. They see and hear everything with these smartphones. And pre the smartphone, I don't know if you all remember this, but back in the day when you had radios and TVs, you know, sometimes you would turn your radio off, but you would still hear that chattering, but your radio is off, but you would still hear that chatter. You would still hear something going on. That was them listening. They was tapped in. I know I'm not the only one that remember that. I know I'm not the only one that remember that when you had that radio off, yet it was still making noise. They was tapping in. So it just changes form. As the saying goes, nothing is new under the sun. So I don't live in fear of anything, man. Like I said, when people was walking around thinking the world was going to end, that was hilarious to me. Never bought it. Oh, they know some of everything about us with these phones. Yep, the echo in the phone, most definitely. Again, it just transformed over to the phone, to the smartphone. Heck, the TV is like that and used to be like that. I know plenty of time people were like, man, I feel like my TV is watching me and stuff like that. You wasn't just feeling like that for a reason. They was tapped in. And we can go back to some of our ancestors like MLK and Malcolm X and how they was just tapping in on them. So they know how to keep tabs on us. It just changes form. It just evolves with technology. So that's all it is, man. But at some point, again, we got to take it upon ourselves to say, I'm not going to take this on face value. But it's easy. It's easy for them to lead the masses in a wrong direction. It's too easy. Like I said, they can semi-tell us anything as long as it sounds like it makes the slightest bit of sense. We will swallow it up. We will swallow it up. Oh yeah, I remember Eric Snowden. Man, it's a lot of artists that have been silenced. Like I'm gonna go like Professor Griff. Professor Griff is my man's. Man, they did some damage to Professor Griff. I know one video he talked about how they burned down his home, man, where he had all his books. Like they burned down his crib, man, where he had all his read material. They was like, all right, and they used to do that back to our ancestors in Egypt. They burned down the libraries. So this is nothing new under the sun. This is what they do. They say, oh, he dishing out all this information. We gonna burn the house down. Where he got all this information at, where he got all his sources, gonna burn it down. Yeah, those end of the world parties was crazy. I remember all that. Exactly, Edward. That's my key. That's the key right there for me. Do your own research. Don't accept anything on face value. Again, just accountability, man. Just stop swallowing or buying everything that they are selling. Like just that easy. I just go back to this whole pandemic and just how easy they had us walking around with masks on. To the point, it was to the point where people was walking around with the mask, but this is the point where it got me, where people were trying to explain it based off of what they were telling folks. And if y'all remember, like the first few times they came out with the mask, they was going back and forth. 1 minute the mask was helpful, the next minute it wasn't, and people were like using that to justify the reason for the mask. I'm like, man, the people that are telling you to wear the mask are not sure what this mask is doing. Yeah, Alfred, is crazy. When people talk about the end times and all these prophecies, I'm like, man, as soon as the moment you come out the womb, you are in your last days, man. So again, like we try to make things too spooky. We try to make things too religious, man. We really need to stop doing that. Because I'm by far not religious at all. But I mean, even if you go to the Bible, man, they let you know that you're not gonna know when that type of time comes. So why do you think you can predict it? So why would you even like you go against? And that's another thing that people tend to do. They go against the logic of some of the schools of thought that they accept. So it's like if your book is telling you will not know the time nor the hour and all that, and it's gonna be like a thief in the night, then somebody tells you the world gonna end on this day, and you believe it. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, got about spirituality over here in St. Louis. I mean, you pretty much can't go into any store without the mask on. Like they literally won't let you in. Most definitely question everything. Believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. That's the quote. Yeah, it's like it's crazy going back to the mask though. How easy they got us to say, oh, it's a virus, it's a pandemic, wear a mask. And we did it. That right there demonstrates the power that they have in regards to they could shift the whole health of the country by just coming out and telling you to eat a certain type of way. But we know why they're not going to do that. But look how they just got people to wear masks. I mean, look at that. They demonstrating the power right there. They showing and proving their power right there, man. They just got everybody instantly. Like 1 minute we not wearing masks, the next minute they telling you to wear the mask, and we wearing masks. Like that fear is a big dog, man, and that's how they gonna sell that vaccine. Now, you know what I'm saying? It's a big dog, so we gotta stop doing that, man. We gotta stop doing that and gotta stop being afraid of going against the grain. Like plenty of times I was around folks, man, they was like, "You're not gonna wear a mask." I'm like, "No." Like I'm good, man. I'm protected, man. I take care of myself. I do the things that you should have been doing before this pandemic hit, so I'm good. If anything does enter my body, it's not going to last long because I take care of myself, so it can't thrive in that environment. So I'm good. I don't need the mask. And people looking at you sideways, it's like, man, come on. Like you on me about a mask, but then look at your plate. So you take the mask down to eat swine. Consuming a swine flu. But you mad at me because I'm not wearing a mask, but you pour your mask down to eat the pig. One of the filthiest animals that you can consume. And you pulling your mask down to eat that, but you mad because I'm not wearing a mask. Alfred, I tell people that all the time, man. You risking your life every time when you drive to work. Because again, you're not just driving solo dolo. There are other people on the road. So at any given time, you can come across a knucklehead and that could be the end. That's risky because you don't have control over what the other drivers do. So I tell people that all the time, man. The moment you step outside of the house, you're risking your life. Anything can happen to you, man. People, all it takes is for that one person to be having that bad day and for you to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. Heck, you could be at the right place just at the wrong time. And that's all it takes. So it's all risky. But we got to promote, like, we got to be critical thinkers, man. We got to be free thinkers. What's going on, Ronnie Ryan? Like, we got to quit playing with it, man. One thing I don't advocate is fear, man. I'm like not afraid of nothing. Like I quoted Malcolm X the last video, man. He said he was living his life like somebody that was already dead, man. So that's just how I'm living my life. I don't fear anything. Matter of fact, I'm going to do a video about death, man, and why we shouldn't fear it. Like you gotta eradicate that fear, man. You can't live your life in fear. You can't make moves out of fear. You can't do that. You cannot live like that. That's how they control you. That's how they control you. I'm not afraid of no COVID. I'm not afraid of a coronavirus. I'm not afraid of it at all. Why should I be? What's going on, O'Shane? Again, it's accountability, man. A lot of this stuff that they tell you to do in order to like prevent yourself from acquiring this virus, you should have been doing it anyway. You should have been keeping the hand sanitizer on day. You should have been washing your hands. But again, they don't tell you the way to eat to prevent a virus. But the little simple stuff like that, you should have been doing it anyway. And we know what group of people don't do that. We all have been in that bathroom. We know who comes out of that bathroom and don't wash their hands. We know who does that. We know where that's coming from. Yeah, the older generation, and that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem, man. They program the older generation really creating that disconnect, man. So they know exactly what they're doing. And this is the type of stuff, it was written in the Willie Lynch letter type deal, man. So this is type of stuff that was written. So they already let you know basically what they was going to do before they did it. And then they did it. So like this was all, peace God, what's going on? So this was all programmed, man. So it's like they knew that they was going to program one generation this way, program the next generation this way, and then that was going to create a disconnect. They planned that. This didn't just happen. People be wondering why, like, oh man, the youth is like this, that, and the third. They already knew that they was going to do this. They already had a plan for the youth. They already had a plan for this current generation. Just like they had a plan for the older generations. Yeah, got it about spirituality. I was just using that as an example because they say sanitizing the hands and things of that nature. So that's why I was using it. Speaking in layman terms, but it's like stuff like that, washing your hands and all that. We should have been doing that type of stuff anyway. And yeah, Alpha Mind said, I'm not afraid of it at all. I mean, whether I'm too swole, whether I'm just too healthy for it, like I'm not afraid of it. I have no reason to fear it, man. I have no reason to walk outside and be in fear for my life like that, man. Not at all. What's going on, Sasha? Because I took my health in my own hands a long time ago. So I'm not afraid of any disease at all because I held myself accountable. So if I even come across a virus or a disease, it's because of something I did or I failed to do. So it'll be my own fault. So I'm accountable for that. So again, that eliminates fear, man, when you hold yourself accountable for your health. Like you eliminate fear by doing that, by simply doing that, holding yourself accountable. If something happens to me, it's because of something I did or I failed to do. Point blank, period. Yeah, man, I should do a whole video on why I'm not voting. But again, when you express that view, everybody they almost jump on your head. Oh, you part of the problem. Oh, you must be a Trump supporter. I don't know where not voting and Trump supporter came from. But if I'm not voting, obviously I don't support Trump because I'm not voting for Trump. If I supported Trump, I would vote for Trump. And I would campaign for other people to vote for Trump. But me saying I'm not voting does not equate to me being a Donald Trump supporter. That makes zero sense. But again, we don't think. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that song Beast Reincarnated, man. I saw it. Right. Fear is a virus. Fear is the virus that's spreading. Most definitely. They want us to be sheep. Want us to be big time sheep. It ain't even that they want us to be sheep. We are sheep. They got us. They got us. That's why I'm so adamant, man, to just speak this type of information, man, because I'm like, I get sick and tired of it because I encounter it every time I walk outside, man. Just the type of stuff that I encounter, man, the type of excuses that people make, man, just the information or the misinformation that people tend to swallow up, man. It's crazy. Like it's hard to have a conversation with the average person, man, just due to the fact that they so programmed by this system that it's like anytime you tell them something that's contrary to what they've been conditioned to believe, like it's a problem. And sometimes I just don't have the energy to go back and forth with said individuals, man. So it's like sometimes I just have to keep stuff to myself. Most definitely Forever Kings, man. I've been on this journey for a minute since I pretty much graduated like 09. Beast Reincarnated, man, it's a tough process because the older generation, like you got a better chance of reaching the younger generation. The older generation tend to be stuck in their ways and they don't want to hear a younger person telling them what's right and what's wrong. They believe they already got the answers. And that's part of the problem. It's really hard to communicate as a youngin to the older generation because like I said, they believe they got the answers for the most part and they stuck in their ways. So when you 20, 30 years younger to them and you coming to them with information that's challenging something they've been believing for 50, 60 years, they like, nah. It could even make sense to them. But since it's coming like you the source, they gonna have a problem with it. Like it's really hard to get through to the older generation, like in regards to certain aspects of life. It's complicated. Most definitely, Donna C, people definitely have a problem, a big problem with understanding. Most of our problems stem from misunderstandings. Yeah, omnipotent Goldie. Yeah, their agenda is set in stone. Their agenda is set in stone. Ain't no like we not we just participating in the agenda. Yeah, O'Shane, I'm with you. I'm with you all the way over here in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm with you, 100%. Beast Reincarnated, anything is definitely possible. Definitely possible. It's just a matter of how much patience you have. Because again, we got a younger generation that needs our assistance as well. Heck, even the people in my, like our generation, whatever generation you're a part of, there's plenty of people within that generation that need help. So it's like, man, we got a lot of work to do. Yeah, got it by spirituality. Most people, I mean, I've been called some of everything. I done been called some of everything. I don't, you know, I've been called something. I done been called the worst of worst, just by simply challenging the status quo. And along with that, like I said, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So it's like when they ready to get certain pieces of information, like when people ready to go plant-based that know me personally, like they know where to find me. They know what type of lifestyle I live. Like when people ready to get their workout in, they know where to find me. They hit me up. So it's like when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, man. People know what you are about. So when they ready for that particular piece of information, they gonna find you. But I'm like, don't be mad at that point if I moved on and I don't really feel like assisting you, because I don't operate on nobody else's time. So I'm not gonna necessarily be there to teach you when you think you're ready. So that's what a lot of people don't understand. So forget that. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear, man. I tend to listen when somebody's telling me something off the rip, because you never know. You may not ever be able to get access to that person again. So you might be missing your blessing, man. Don't dismiss that blessing, man. Somebody telling you some crucial information, you need to listen to it. You need to listen to it. And I almost don't care who it's coming from, man. I done got some Jews from homeless folks. I'm listening. If it resonates with me, I'm listening. Yeah, Donna C. And then the thing about it is, a lot of people are letting social media and TV strongly influence their children. Strongly. And that's part of the problem, man. It's like people are really afraid to, I don't even know if it's afraid, but just not willing to sit down and truly educate their children, man. They just give them these devices and be like, all right, be quiet. Watch YouTube on it. Watch kids YouTube on this device or whatever. It's like, nah, man, we need to get back to educating. We need to get back to teaching the proper information to these kids, man. Because if you don't, they're going to find it elsewhere. Hence where social media comes into play. Hence where that peer pressure comes into play. They're going to start following the friends. They're going to start following what they see on social media, mainstream media, if you're not teaching them at home. Or are they going to depend on this school system? And we know how that can get. So it starts at home. We got to teach them what's right and exact. Yeah, people are definitely afraid of what they don't understand. And that's a big time problem, man. So they tend to overly criticize you, man, and just try to tear your character down when you present them with the other aspect. To the point where it's like I said, I don't tend to waste energy on it anymore, man. I don't tend to waste energy on it anymore. Oh, Shane, I've been plant-based. Like, I've been vegetarian for over 10 plus years. I've been vegan for like the last year and some change. I was going on and off between vegetarianism, veganism, doing a lot of experimentation, but I've been without meat for 10 plus years, man. I was vegetarian for the longest, like 8 or 9 years. But yeah, that lack of knowledge is crucial, because knowledge is the foundation. Yeah, it's some things on man. It's some things that's out here on television, man, that's crazy, man. The type of stuff that's really being promoted, it's almost like you really don't even want to have kids watch TV, man. It's crazy. The type of agendas that are out here, man, it's crazy. And y'all know what type of agendas I'm talking about. Heck, if I mention some of the agendas, this video will get banned instantly. So y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure y'all can guess what type of agendas I'm talking about. I done got banned from YouTube for mentioning these particular, not YouTube, but Facebook. I done got banned from Facebook at a point in time, man, just for mentioning certain communities and their agenda. They never want to have that discussion at all. Back in the 90s, it was a lot of information, a lot of bombs being dropped back in the 90s, man. That the 90s was a fabulous era. Yeah, I'm always read, man. I got like 8 or 9 books scattered right to the right of me right now. Like I could just start showing books right now. Like, look at that. Secret Science for the Physical and Spiritual Transformation of Man. Like that's a book that's sitting right here to my right. That's a deep joint. I got this thick bad boy, African Holistic Health. RIP, Dr. Africa. I got some everything. Like I know y'all been wanting me to do video about my books, man. I'm gonna definitely do that, but I'm gonna just show y'all the books that I got right here. Vegucation Over Medication, Myths, Lies, and Truths About Modern Foods and Medicine. Bobby Price. I mean, these just the books that I be consuming, man. It's what I've been on like here recently. The Great Cure, Short and Sweet. I even got a book on fasting, of course. See if y'all can see that joint. Yeah, look at that. Fast, Feast, Repeat. And what else I got? I mean, I got a book right here on milk. I mean, just to let you know that I really be doing this information. I got books. I got read whole books about milk. Don't drink your milk. Frightening medical facts about the world's most overrated nutrient. So when people think I be making stuff up, that is not what's happening. I always got the sources to back up what I'm saying. That's a book about milk. I recommend reading that one. That joint drops some jewels about why you definitely don't need to be drinking milk. I even got books on Qigong, man. The Secret of Youth, Qigong. I'm gonna just show everything I got here, man. So y'all probably order some of these joints. Look at that. Super immunity. This is another good one. This will help with the current pandemic. Super immunity. Definitely grab that joint. And here go another good joint. Book of Secrets. Unlocking the hidden dimensions of your life, man. These are all books that's just right here by me, man, that I be going back and forth studying. This is a science book. How we know what isn't. The fallibility of human reason in everyday life. Like, come on. Cop all these books that I'm mentioning, man. These books will turn your life around. I'm going to grab some more. This is another powerful one right here. The Kemetic Diet. That's a powerful book. The Kemetic Diet. This is powerful. It's a thick joint, but it's powerful, man. Definitely get this book. The Kemetic Diet. I recommend this book, man. I had this book for like 10 years. And I go back to it from time to time. I read it like 2 or 3 times. The book is powerful. So I'm always doing the knowledge, man. I pride myself on controlling what I consume. And no, I haven't read the Black Law Dictionary yet. That's on my to read list. I've been supposed to have read that for a minute now. Yep, Dynasty. That's it. That's the only milk that we should be drinking. Right on, Jamel. Like I said, man, I got a boatload of books that I'm gonna recommend. Eventually, I'm gonna get around to doing a video, but these were just the books that was right here by me. And as you can see, I'm reading a lot about health and fitness and things like that, man. Just nutrition. But yeah, that Kemetic Diet book is crucial. Yeah, Alfred. Most of the population is actually lactose intolerant. Some of us just go against the grain. Milk is just garbage, period. And cheese too. You actually got, traces of morphine in cheese. That's little stuff that they don't tell us, but I already talked about that. All right, got about spirituality. I'm gonna cop that joint. I've been meaning, man. I remember like 10 years ago, I was supposed to have ordered it, but never did. And as far as milk go, I like hemp milk from a nutritional standpoint. That's the best milk. Taste wise, I like the oat milk. So I've even gotten off like almond milk for real, but I like the oat milk. But as far as like the healthiest form of milk, hemp milk, it's just hard to like that joint is not the best tasting milk. Oh man, I could do a whole video on how people talk bad about reading, like as if it's a crime, bro. I've had a lot, man. It's crazy. I mean, I've literally had people ask me, like, what you doing all that reading for? Like, that's a legit question that I get asked. Like, if you're not in school, people feel like you shouldn't be reading. Like that was the weirdest thing, man. I like people like, oh man, what you reading for? You in school? Like, that's the only time that I can be reading. That's crazy. I got to be in school for me to be reading. Heck, I didn't read when I was in school. I started reading after I got out of school, man, because the textbooks were so dry. Like, it discouraged me from, like, I didn't want to read. So I didn't pick up my habit of reading until after school, man. I was just burnt out on them garbage, dry textbooks with a bunch of misinformation in them. So that killed my desire to read. So I had to pick that desire back up later in life. Man, listen, I'd have been looked at crazy because I have a book bag full of books. When I pull several books out, man, the looks I get is crazy. Like you said, it's like you an alien. Oh, and inflammation, Alfred, spices, turmeric, garlic, ginger. Those are anti-inflammatory. All them little spices. Turmeric, ginger, garlic. You can even fool with some onions. Never stops at all as far as education go. And Beast Reincarnated 5G, man, I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to do another video on that, man. That was crazy when it was like the thing that people were talking about. And Omnipotent Goldie, I got black seed oil. I don't use it religiously like I should, but I have it. I more so use like my elderberry syrup. That's what I use a lot. And then like my green powders, like I got kelp powder. Then you get the spirulina, wheatgrass, chlorella. And Donna C about to get started on the term color, folks. Now I already know where you're going with that, Donna C. Yeah, you can never have too much. Now, even when you study wealthy folks, man, that was the common denominator. All of them read. Like they say, the average CEO reads about 50 to 60 books per year. So it's like we the only one that shun readers. We shun readers and we shun people who eat healthy. Like, what you gonna eat some plants? It's like, dude, you gonna eat grass? Like, we make fun of people that do that. We make fun of people for eating healthy and reading. Nah, Sasha, I'm not privy to Steiner education. Yeah, those school books were terribly dry. Like again, that killed my desire. Like I was like, if this is what reading consists of, I want no parts of it. So I had to start back with what interests me. So that's how I got back into the groove of reading. Like I just read books that resonated with me to get me back into the swing of things, man, because those textbooks in school were garbage. Just a bunch of garbage. From the content to how long they were, man, just garbage. It was like, man, y'all made this solid effort to misinform us, man. Like, it's crazy. Y'all wrote this 700, 800 page textbook filled with stuff that y'all know is misinformation. So it's crazy. Like again, I'm not afraid to stand out. I'm not afraid to be outside of the box, man. Everybody walking around with a bunch of nonsense. I'm walking around with a bunch of books. Call me a hippie, call me what you want. All right, Sasha, I'm gonna have to look into that. I'm gonna have to do some research on that. Yeah, Jermel, like I said, I got a whole PowerPoint I can do on that. Plus, again, we like to use the term original. But we are also not colored too. So that's something that that's not really what we are also. Beast reincarnated said you don't need the cottage cheese, just the fruits. Forever King's indoctrination at its finest. Yeah, Sasha, I gotta check that out. Sound like it's real positive and empowering. But yeah, Beast reincarnated, stay away from that cottage cheese, man. Anything got cheese on, stay away from it. All you need are the fruits. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise in regards to whatever it is. Like, don't, for one, you don't want to combine fruits with anything. So that's like number one. Fruits are to be eaten by themselves. So that's number one as to why you shouldn't do that. Like, you shouldn't really combine a fruit with any other food group, like at all. So, like I mentioned earlier, that I had a certain format because we taking this YouTube channel to the next level, man. I'm always striving to take stuff to the next level. So I got a legit format in regards to how I'm about to do these live videos, man. So the days that I go live, it's gonna be a theme behind most of the days, and I'm gonna just see what y'all think about it. So, like on Mondays, I'm gonna definitely talk about that. But on Mondays, I was thinking about making that devoted to like mental health, mental Mondays. Wednesday, we was gonna come back and we was gonna dive deep into the deep topics that people are afraid to discuss, like the voting. And I also want to do a video about vaccines and how vaccines are garbage and the bad history attached to vaccines. So I'm gonna do some stuff like that. But Wednesday, that's when I'm gonna dive into the deep, like metaphysical or political, spiritual, whatever term you want to utilize. That's when we dive into those type of topics. And then Thursday is gonna be like vegan or fitness Thursday, where I'm gonna talk about some vegan tips or like some fitness tips. And then what I was planning on doing for like Saturdays, everybody asked me about books. So I was gonna bring out a book on Saturdays and I was gonna discuss what I gathered from that book. So Saturdays is gonna be the day, not necessarily a book review, but it's something similar to that. Just my motivation or inspiration for whatever the book that I choose. on that particular Saturday, and I just, kind of go over what I learned from the book and then what I feel like could be useful. Yeah, Dynasty. Nope. Can't be combining the fruits. You got to eat the fruit first. Give yourself 30 minutes. Then you eat the dairy-free yogurt with the chia seeds. But not together, though. So, yeah, like I said, Monday, like mental Mondays. We're going to elevate the mind on Monday. Then Wednesday, we're going to dive into the deep topics. Now, I'm talking about we're going to go deep. Some stuff that people are afraid to touch. Then Thursday, we're gonna talk what we need to be eating, how we need to be exercising, things of that nature. We're gonna be talking about vegan fitness. And Saturday, I'm gonna bring a book out. Like next Saturday, I'm gonna already tell you, next Saturday, I'm gonna talk about the 48 Laws of Power. And do I feel like it's a useful book or a manipulative book? We're gonna talk about it. We're going to talk about it. I'm already tell you next Saturday, that's the book that I'm going to bring to the surface. And we're going to discuss that particular book next Saturday. Beast reincarnated? Yes, I do. I had got some knowledge on that way back in the day. And Sasha, my thing about that, when they say if you don't vote, you can't complain about the end result, what they fail to realize is that we are not essentially complaining about the end result. We are pretty much telling you what the end result will be when we choose not to vote. Like, we just letting you know what the end result will be. Because I definitely not complaining. I don't care who is in the office. Either way, we going to experience these type of struggles. So I'm going to focus on myself and manifest what I need to manifest for my life, for my family. So you probably will never hear me really complain about the presidents, like, and the little bills that they pass and stuff like that, because we already know what's going on. If anything, I just be informing people. But I get what you're saying though, because I've heard that. All right, O'Shane, you currently reading it? Cool. It's a lot of mixed opinions about that particular book. That's why I want to touch on that first. But I'm going to definitely bring that book to the surface. There's a lot of mixed opinions about that book. Some people feel like it's useful. Some people feel like it's for the wicked and evil. Yep, down to no change for us at all. Not at all. The only change is going to come about when we make the change for ourselves. Like, that's it. Be the change you want to see. We always waiting on an outside savior. My lesson say self-savior. You got to save yourself. Yeah, Beast reincarnated. They like to tell you that they died for your right to vote when they were actually murdered and slaughtered. I'm gonna have to find those schools, Sasha. But y'all let me know what y'all think of that layout, man. That's how I'm thinking I'm about to start rolling. Yeah, O'Shane, that's how I am with it, man. There's some particular laws within that book that it's crazy, because I probably had never lived like that, but it helps you understand how this system operates. Like, reading that book, it helps you thoroughly understand what's actually going on. Like, even in corporate America, that is how the people at the top tend to operate. Hey, Zuko, that's a good question, man, because I was around it. Like, I definitely had plenty of opportunities to indulge in the street life. I was right there by it, right there in the mix. I would probably have to give like my parents some credit on that end. I would say it's important to have that mother and that father figure, man. Like I would say that was probably crucial. But then at the same time, man, it just came down to me making that decision because even though they were both present in my life, like I was still out there. I still had I still hung around people that was involved in it. Like some people that I hung out with back in middle school, man, they are currently serving long sentences right now. So I could have easily taken that route. Like easily, man. So it came down to just having that father figure. That's crucial for a black male, man. To have that father figure, man, that's crucial. That's crucial. Alfred, I haven't read that, man. I'm gonna have to look that up. And Beast Reincarnated, I got you. I got you, like I said, on them Wednesdays when I dive deep. Oh, yeah, most definitely ghettos and hoods are manufactured. I got a whole book. Oh, man, I got several books on how the ghettos and hoods were manufactured. Matter of fact, I was just watching a documentary on Compton. And they tell you, man, it's crazy. Man, I want to do a whole video on that, but I was just watching a documentary on Compton. And basically how the white gangs that were in existence back in the 40s and 50s, the white gangs were created. I think they were called like the Spooks or whatever. The whole purpose of that gang was to keep the blacks out of the neighborhood, out of their neighborhood. So this is what manifested or gave birth to the black gangs. But yet they want to make it seem like this is our creation that we know. We know that that's not true. But man, it was crazy, man. That little documentary I'm watching on Compton. But yeah, I got a couple books. Let me see if I can find them. I don't have them on me. And I want to give you the exact title. I know one of them is The Condemnation of Blackness. Race, Crime, and the Making of Modern Urban America. That's a good one. And let me see if I can find my other one because I don't want to get up. But that'd be a good start. I read that one. That's a real good one. So I recommend starting there with that one, The Condemnation of Blackness, Race, Crime, and the Making of Modern Urban America. I appreciate that, Sasha, man. Like I said, I'm just taking what I learned and I'm just trying to spit it out, man, disseminate that information because I don't want to sit on it. I'm trying to find another book that I read. So I'm about to try to find it real quick. And I'm gonna go, man. Speaking of like the ghettos and all that being manufactured, I'm gonna go to an old CeeLo lyric from Goodie Mob. So he say sometimes he wondered what was the gate put up to keep crime out or keep us in. Go back and listen to that Goodie Mob Cell Therapy, man. They was way ahead of their time with that track. Way ahead of their time with that track. But I may definitely have to come back and do a video on that, man, because I got some interesting pieces of information, man. Then, like I said, that documentary I'm watching is crazy. Nah, Sasha, that's crazy. They like the voice. But yeah, we gonna get on it, like I said. So I'm gonna be back Monday, Mental Monday. So we gonna We're gonna motivate the mind, because I know a lot of people start the week on Monday, need that motivation, need that inspiration. Supply that. Because that mind is crucial, man. So I know a lot of people, man. I don't know if you all suffer from it, man, but I didn't, have my fair share of like mental issues, man, just getting over certain things, man, and battling like anger, depression, all that type of stuff, man. So I done been there, done that, still there and still doing that. So I'm gonna just supply y'all with all the information that's helping me along my journey. So that's what Mental Monday is gonna be about. We're gonna elevate the mind, man. We're gonna get that brain healthy. Yeah, Zuko, most definitely. Like I said, man, there were plenty of times where I could have like dove off the deep end and did some crazy things. Cause like I said, a lot of people that I was fooling with at the time, man, they in some bad positions right now. So I just feel like, man, I just made decisions, man. It was just certain things that I was just like, nah, I don't think I want to travel down that path, man. I don't really want to, when they hit you with to spend the rest of your life in jail, like I would watch stuff on, TV about prison and stuff like that. I'm like, man, nah, I don't want to, that ain't the life I want to live, man. So that right there resonated with me early, man. I just knew I didn't want that. And I surely didn't want to end up dead. So I'm like, all right, so I gotta play this thing a little smart. I don't want to end up in prison, or I don't want to end up dead. So this is how I gotta move. But what's crazy, even when I was striving to move right, they still criminalized me based off of simple things like me having hair, me having locks. So they were still making me out to be a criminal, even though I didn't walk that path. And beast reincarnated, it depends on what type of creator you're talking about. Because man and woman create. So I believe in creators in that sense. Like we create. So it depends on what type of creator you're talking about. If you're talking about in the religious sense, no. Yeah, omnipotent Goldie, like that's yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. I'm fine being free. I'm fine struggling. I'm fine being stressed while I'm free. Cause I'd rather that than being locked up and struggling and stressing. Now, there's some people that they do the time and don't let the time do them. But now I don't want to put myself in that position if I can control it. Almost definitely, crime is a business, and that Condemnation of Blackness book, it talks about that. It talks about that. Oh yeah, AI, that's the future, man. Like that's the future. We ain't seen nothing yet. AI definitely gonna take over. That's the future. There ain't nothing we can do about that. We all should see that coming. That's why I'm encouraging a lot of people to like focus on doing their own thing, because in a minute here, you're not really gonna have, it's not gonna be too many options as far as like jobs, man. So it's best to go ahead and prepare for that now. That's why I left the bank, man. Banking is one of those industries where it's like it's gonna be no need for us. So I'm like, man, let me just get ahead of that curve, man. People they not gonna need me here shortly, and then when they don't need me, it ain't gonna be nothing for them to dispose of me. So I'm gonna just go ahead and dispose of myself. Donna, see, I'm more of a not evolution in the Darwin sense, but that's more what I subscribe to, the evolutionary process. To keep that short. And then you can even go to the triple stage darkness, talking about the atom and things of that nature. But I more so subscribe to that. Because then, I mean, I can always go back, because it's a never ending cycle there. Because then I would ask who created the creator, that type of stuff. And then even on top of that, you got the phrase always was, always will be. We always focus on creation in the beginning. Who's to say that anything was created and anything began? Who's to say that it wasn't always here in existence? As far as like the universe and things of that nature. So it's like little stuff, like little questions like that I started wrestling with. And that led to me studying things like the Big Bang Theory, man. I didn't creationism. I didn't studied all of that. And the stuff that resonated with me a little bit more was like evolution, Big Bang. Then when I started dealing with atoms and a single cell organism and everything evolving from that, like that stuff makes more sense to me. I just can't, it never resonated with me. I never felt too good about the whole, religious creator aspect. That's never really sat well with me. Never. Like it never really made sense to me at all. But evolution is something that, again, it's all theory. It's all whether you accept it or not, because I mean, they tell you the theory of evolution, but it makes sense to me because like I can just see evolution just on a personal scale, just how we constantly evolve and things of that nature. But it's like for me to subscribe to like this all seeing, this omnipotent, like creator, transcendental being and all that, like I can't say that I can do that. And again, now I know very uncommon view, but like that's where I, after all my studying and things like that, that's what I like. That type of stuff never resonated with me at all. But like as far as creator goes, like I said, we create. As far as how life got here, like again, in existence, man, woman come together, give birth. So that's how I came into existence. So I focus on that aspect of stuff. Like I focus on that. That's how I came into existence. My mother, my father, they did what they had to do, and that created me. But it would take a lot of convincing, and it just hasn't happened for me to subscribe to a creator, like one creator, somebody that created everything, and then they still exist, like all that type of stuff. Like I can't do it. Beast reincarnated, man. We got to learn technology, man. We got to learn how to code, man. We got to learn how to program the computers because that's going to be the new wave. So mastering technology, like that's how you gonna make your money. So we got to evolve with the time. So it's like somebody gonna have to program these computers and things of that nature. So we got to master technology. That's what you got to do. Yeah, Sasha. If anything, I consider myself. I mean, sometimes I use the word spiritual, but I haven't really used that word. I'm more so scientific in my way of thinking. Some people call it metaphysical with some of the stuff that I talk about. I don't know. Because sometimes people make a religion out of the spiritual thing. So that's why sometimes I eliminate that from describing myself, because sometimes people make that into like a religion. Yeah, I think O'Shane. When I think it all boils down to the mind, to the mental. Beast reincarnated, man. My simple breakdown of antichrist, that's anything that's anti-you, anti-righteous, anti-nature. When someone is striving to be, because I don't necessarily believe that somebody of that name, like, well, Jesus existed. But when you talking about being Christ-like, when somebody brings that up, man, like you can talk about Christ consciousness or what they like to call God consciousness and things of that nature, man. That's just you being righteous by nature and things like that. So anything like the Antichrist is anything that's anti-you, man. I take everything and I apply it to my life. So Antichrist, if I utilize that language, is anything that's anti-me. And who am I? Like I'm someone that's righteous by nature. So anything that's like anti-health, anti-positivity, anti-upliftment, it goes against my nature. So that can be an Antichrist to me. That's how I view that, to break it down in simplistic terms, man. I take everything, I apply it to self. That's what my lessons state. Take everything and apply it to self. So I'm not looking at an Antichrist as some politician or some individual that's going to come and be wicked and install the microchips and all. Like, I don't look at it like that. I take that and I apply that to my life. What does an Antichrist mean to me? And how can I, like, how do I encounter that in my everyday life? So when you hear somebody say they striving to be Christ-like, what does that mean? So then when you define or describe what that means, anything that's anti that is an Antichrist. So if striving to be Christ-like is striving to be good-hearted, anything that's not good-hearted, that's Antichrist. What's going on, Dizzy? Appreciate it. Beast reincarnated? No. But like I said, it can come in human form. Like if somebody is going against your nature and they being anti-righteous and you got to deal with them, that's your Antichrist. It's something that in my lessons that we call devil heads, man, like vices. So your Antichrist can be any of that type of stuff, man. And it can come in the shape or form of a person. It can be an addiction. So however it comes to you. And Edward, most definitely, that's why a lot of the stuff it's merely theory. So I make sure that I reiterate that. So even when I say I subscribe to like evolution, I also state that it's a theory. So it's just something that we pretty much accepting. So it made the most sense to us. We accepted it. But at the end of the day, when it goes back to something like that, I don't know for certain. That's why I focus on when the person asked about creators, that's why I say my mother and my father, they created me. That's something I know for a fact. But if we go back to say, how did everything come into existence? I don't know that at all. I can only subscribe to a theory that makes sense to me. As far as I'm concerned, like I said, everything always was. Who's to say that it wasn't? Like, how can we disprove that? As Carl Sagan says, man, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And to me, evolution has a lot of extraordinary evidence. But as far as somebody like some power that we can't see creating everything, I don't have enough evidence for that. But evolution, there's some evidence behind it. And again, got to look beyond the typical theory of evolution that people talk about. Oh, Sasha, I got a lot of views about animals, man. People, I had mentioned evolution at a point in time, and people got mad at me when I mentioned it and was like, hold up, I'm not connected to an animal. Like it was like that was like negative or derogatory for me to say that. And I'm like, yo, like I said, there's some things that some animals can do that we can't fathom doing as far as like their senses and stuff like that. Heck, if I could tap into some of the things that animals can do, it's like if you want to be hip to like an earthquake, get you a dog, man. I don't know if you all know that, but man, that dog will start acting crazy because they connected. They connected to that hemisphere in ways that we not. So we can't detect that earthquake. We need that dog for that. So it's like people attack me, man. I have no like if the animals are my ancestors, I have no problem saying that. But I could do a whole spiel about like evolution and stuff like that because it's a lot of misunderstanding that goes along with like evolution. Because people say that people think that it means we came from apes. Like they're saying that the apes are we got that common ancestor. So even when you study evolution, it's not necessarily saying we came from apes, but that's a misunderstanding that people have when you bring up evolution. They think, oh, that means we came from apes. I ain't come from no ape. That's not, evolution never said that. But again, that's a whole nother video. Omnipotent Goldie, I'm with you. Exactly. Beast reincarnated is simple. Sasha has said that people fear what they can't understand, so they'll call you a conspiracy theorist. Simple, because that's the label that's commonly used. And Alfred Aubrey, I agree with what Nick Cannon said. I made a video about it, but I'm just mad he went up and apologized and did all that type of nonsense, man. But we know why he did it. I wish he would have stood on it, man, because like I said, I mentioned Professor Griff earlier. We already know how Professor Griff feels about that particular situation because he said it. That's what got him kicked out of Public Enemy. Matter of fact, Professor Griff was on the show when he mentioned it. So, I fool with Professor Griff. Yeah, Sasha, I can't believe that because I done been in that same boat. Yeah, we definitely not in tune with nature. Definitely not in tune. And Donna C, that's exactly my school of thought. Original people. Whatever label you want to place on it, to us is all the same. So if you call it Hebrew, African, Asiatic, whatever, to us is all the same. Original. So that's exactly how we break it down. Whether you want to call it Moor, Hebrew, whatever you want to call it. You the Israelite, you the Moor, you the African, you the Asiatic, you the Indian, whatever. You the Aboriginal. It's all original. Most definitely. A lot of things are too real for people to touch. That's why we touching on it. That's why it's no holds barred. Like, it is what it is. It's crazy in the age of information, but it's also still the age of misinformation because at the same time, it's so easy to access information. That's part of the problem. You don't really have to put in that work that our ancestors used to have to put in to get the proper information. Man, you could just Google something and a bunch of information gonna come up. That's that blessing and that curse. It's more of a curse to me. If people actually had to put in that work to go get the information, things would be different. But man, you could just Google search something and people think they're an expert after looking something up for 30 minutes. Because that's how easy it is to access articles and stuff like that. That's why I will never stray away from reading the books and all that type of stuff, man. I'm not, you don't hear me. If I'm quoting something, it came directly out of me reading several books about it. Like, I'm not about to pull up something off the phone and be like, here you go. Like, I don't like doing that at all. And that's another thing you got to do. Challenge your memory, man. Like, read something, memorize it. Get that brain to working. Like, stop the relying on these phones, man. Like, it's sometimes I get out of the habit. Sometimes I just don't use the GPS. Like, when I'm going somewhere, man, that I haven't been, like, I just get there, man. I just kind of look at a map and say, all right, I'm finna try to get there without using this phone. So, man, we got to do stuff like that, man, because if they take these phones away from us, then what? So sharpen that mind, man. Sharpen that memory. Utilize that mind. Utilize that brain. Yeah, Dizzy, and I wholeheartedly believe that. Because people they don't have to put in no work. And it's work to research. Research is work. People don't understand that research is work. Hence why a lot of people don't read, man, because it's work. Because you read a book and then you got to fact check the book that you read. So you're not just going to accept what that book told you. You're going to read the sources at the end of the book or mentioned within the book. And now you got to study those sources. Cross-reference, cross-check. You got to do all of that. I read physical books. Oh, Shane, man. I got, it was like about 7 years ago, man. I had got the Kindle Fire when it was popular. That lasted about a few months. Then I sold it. I couldn't get with it, man. It's nothing like this physical book. That's why I gotta watch myself with some of the information, man, because like I said, they got a habit of burning down libraries, man. I got too many valuable books. So I gotta stay on my P's and Q's, man, because that's the last thing they finna do to me. So I'm gonna have to find a safe haven for like my books. Yeah, Dynasty. All of us tend to do it from time to time. So I just make sure I make sure I from time to time put that phone down and I just try to go based off memory. So when it's like some information, man, if it's something that I feel like I should know, I'm going based off memory. I'm not gonna look it up. And then I may look it up after the fact to like confirm it to make sure I was right, type deal. But you will be surprised at how powerful that mind is. Yeah, Dizzy, most people fall victim to the microwave era. Most people do. I mean, we walking around bad for our neck. Like we walking down just staring at the phone. Like, man, I see zombies all the time, man. It's like people you about run them over with your car, man. They just go out there out in the street looking down at the phone. They go from the car to a flight of steps and they got their phone. They looking down like they're gonna trip over the steps. Like, man, we don't be paying attention. Man, Sasha, I actually forgot about that, man. So I'm glad you brought that back up. And just by the name, I can kind of see why that would make sense. But yeah, Omnipotent, I'm gonna have to get like a storage unit or something, man, because I got some valuable books, and some of the books you can't even find on like Amazon anymore, and that's crazy. Like some of the books that I have, you legit can't find them. Or if you do find them, you know it's somebody that's selling them on Amazon, and they trying to charge you like $400 for the book. So I got a lot of books like that to where you can't find them, or if you can, then it's like $400, $500. So with some books I gotta hold on to. I be, man, cursing them out. I be mugging them. I'm like, man, come on. Like it'd be ridiculous, man. It's like, man, it's gonna take you 1 minute to get to your destination. You mean to tell me you can't put the phone down for that minute? And don't get me started on like the kid, like the 18, 19-year-olds, bro, and they come into like the bank. Their attention span is garbage. Attention span is garbage. Like they be so focused and distracted by the phone. It's like you would tell them, all right, I need your signature here. And then in a matter of seconds, they just forgot what you told them. They may not have even heard what you told them, but it's like, man, that attention span is terrible. You got to have some patience when dealing with the youth in regards to the way they connected to these phones. Like, you got to have some patience, man, because they don't pay attention at all, man. It's just too easy to distract them, man. That attention span is very short. Very short. You'll run down a whole spiel, man. You'll talk about 5 to 10 minutes, man, and they heard maybe 1 second of what you said. Even if you ask them, like, you heard what I said, or you hear me, you following me, they'll tell you, yeah. Meanwhile, the whole time they not paying any attention. So it's crazy. Oh yeah, the radiation and all that. So sometimes I gotta put the phone away, down, and all that, man. I just don't need to rely on it. But when it comes to information, I go strictly off of like my head, or I grab the book and go back to my highlights. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I operate. But I'm surely not about to think I'm an expert on something because I, found 2 or 3 articles on the phone. Like I can, for life of me, I can't stand it. It's like a pet peeve of mine. When I'd have been doing work, like I'd have been studying, let's say veganism, I'd have been studying that for like 5, 10 plus years, and then somebody come to me with an article they got off their phone telling me why what I'm saying is incorrect. It's like, dude, don't insult me like that. If you're not willing to put in the work to present an educated counter argument to what I'm saying, then do not come to me with some article that you just looked up. that you spent 5 minutes reading, and you didn't even check the source of that article. Like, don't do that. Yeah, Dizzy, man, I'm with you, man. A lot of these kids, they be intelligent, but it's the attention span, man, is just horrible. Like, it's hard. They tune out quick, man. It ain't even a minute. It's some seconds and they tuned out. And then what's crazy is when you look at them, like when you look at what they actually looking at on their phone, is absolutely nothing. Like they just scrolling. So it's like they're not really looking at anything. That's what the funny part about it is, man. They just scrolling. I'm like, dude, y'all live a boring life. I mean, we used to be outside, man. We used to actually do things, interact. Like, you know what I mean? They just scrolling. And then some of them, man, be watching the weirdest videos on like YouTube, like the little kids YouTube. They be watching like other kids play the game. Like, instead of us doing that, we just played the game. So I don't know what be going on, man. It's just weird stuff going on, man. It's just a weird time. Of course, we don't understand it because it's not our era, but man, like, I'm not about to sit around and watch another kid play the game, and like, I'm gonna just play the game. Like, that's what we did. We just played the game. And then if we was at the crib, like, we watched the two who were playing, we watched them, and then we had next. That's how we did it. That was that for us. So I don't understand just watching somebody on YouTube play a game. But that's what these kids be on, man. I wouldn't even, like, nah, man. I'm not doing that, man. You just play the game. I'm on YouTube solely for the inspiration, or like some little stuff that I fool with. Like, I'm a music fan, man. So I watch a lot of like MCs and, like, you know, R&B saying, like, people, musicians and stuff that I fool with. I may watch a lot of interviews on them. So YouTube is pretty much the best tool for me in regards to scrolling, because you come across a lot of useful content, inspiration on YouTube. Facebook, for the most part, just garbage, man. You scroll down Facebook, you ready to punch a hole in your phone or something. Every other thing you see on Facebook, even when you got a nice friends list, man, it just be a bunch of nonsense half the time, man. So I don't even too much care for scrolling on Facebook. But sometimes I catch myself, man. You just get on there and just get to scrolling. All right, old Shane, you be easy out here, please. Yeah, down to see, man. I remember I called my nephew, man. Dude was just scrolling down Instagram. Like, dude wasn't even looking at nothing. He just scrolling. He was scrolling so fast. I'm like, dude, you don't even, like, you can't even be looking at this. You scrolling so fast. Like, what are you doing? Like, dude just was scrolling. I guess whatever catches eye, he gonna stop. It wasn't no slow scroll to see what people talking about. My dude was scrolling fast. I'm like, yo, what are y'all on? What is going on here? But I'm about to go old school in a minute. Like, I'm gonna treat Facebook and stuff like work hours. Like, from 8 to 5, it's gonna be no Facebook, no Instagram, no phone. Like, I'm about to start doing that type of stuff, man. Because for the most part, especially when you get on like Facebook, man, everybody got problems. So a lot of times Facebook is a diary for folks. So you see a lot of people expressing themselves and their problems, man. It's like, for the most part, I don't know about y'all, but I don't really need to see other people talk about their problems all the time on Facebook. That triggers a lot for me. So I'm like, bro, I don't really need to see other people talk about how depressed they are, how upset at life they are, man. That's gonna get to me. So I don't need to see that. And I don't want to delete you because, you know what I'm saying, we cool and stuff like that. So I'll be having to get up off of that. Yep, more time on the research. That's all I be doing. When I'm not doing this, I'm like researching or I'm resting, because resting is crucial. And that's something that I don't get enough of. So I've been making sure I try to prioritize resting. Yeah, I'm using Facebook now a lot for like business purposes, man. Just dealing with clients, acquiring new clients, and all that type of stuff. Yeah, man. I tell you, right now, I can probably get on my Facebook right now. I probably the first Status I see probably be something negative. Just bring you down instantly. But man, I've been on this joint. I done got carried away. I've been on this joint for like 2 hours, man. It's been a good little dialogue. But I got some research to do. I got some chilling to do and all that type of stuff, man. So I'm going to kick back and relax, man. You all have a peaceful rest of the Saturday. And I'm going to see y'all Monday. Like I said, Mental Mondays. We're going to elevate the mind come Monday. So y'all stay peaceful out here, man. Build on the positives, destroy the negative. I'm out, y'all. Peace. And hold up, O'Shane, yep, my Facebook, Eric Bell, man. You can just type in my name, ERICBELL. You will find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram like that, where I'm just posting pretty much all my fitness stuff. And Dizzy, I'm gonna do a video on that. I got, of course, I got a book for everything. I got a book on how to retain that information, so I got you. But I'm out, y'all, man. Peace.